The following program on PBS Fort Wayne is made possible in part by
Beers Mallers, elder law attorneys, providing information on legal matters of guardianship and financial issues relating to nursing home care. Beers Mallers attorneys can also assist with Medicaid requirements and help navigate difficult family situations. Beers Mallers, attorneys at law, with offices in Fort Wayne, LaGrange, and on the web at beersmallers.com.
Good evening. I'm Sandy Thomson, the host of our show Life Ahead Tonight, but our real stars are sitting here in the set with me, and I'll introduce you in just a moment. Our topic's going to be something you maybe don't like to talk about, but you need to with your family. We're going to talk about managing your end-of-life affairs from a legal point of view and from a funeral point of view. Now, if you have some questions, we would love for you to give us a call, and I can have our guest answer those for you so you'll get some professional help right here on Life Ahead. Okay, let's meet our guest. On the end is Troy Keifer, no stranger to us. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you. It's very nice to be here.
Troy's been on Life Ahead a number of times, so he knows the program here, and Troy likes to get questions too, so please give us a call, 969-2720. And Lisa Schenkel, nice to have you, Lisa.
Nice to be here, Sandy.
And Lisa works for a funeral company, and she is a pre-arrangement counselor. What does that mean, Lisa, in layman's terms?
Yeah, so I'm honored to be able to sit down with people typically around that retirement time and just plan what do they want for their family and what do they want, burial, cremation. We go through everything, and then we assemble all the information that we're going to need at the time for things like death certificate, et cetera. And then we talk about how do we want to financially take care of it so our family doesn't have to worry about it.
And isn't that pre-arranging your funeral or somebody in your family's funeral getting to be more common?
Yeah, I feel like it was taboo a long time ago. Like people didn't want to talk about it, but now, like I said, it's just it's a box on your checklist. When you retire, a lot of times people do it even before. They just want to take care of things while they have money, and typically people don't have more money at 90 than they did when they were retiring or while they were working.
All right, and you get them, Troy, later. Now, Lisa and the funeral homes take care of the immediate decisions, and we'll talk about what those are. And then a little later, you end up going to an attorney and taking care of the will and starting to plan how to handle the estate. Troy, what's your recommendation of when somebody should contact an attorney?
Well, when it comes to estate planning, there is no wrong time to contact an attorney. Any time is a good time to talk about your wills, powers of attorney, appointments of healthcare representative. We typically see 3 times, though, when just naturally people seek out an attorney to update their documents. The first time is when a young couple has children. Yeah. And then the second time would be when the couple starts to approach retirement. They start thinking about end-of-life decisions. Right. And then the third time typically then is later in life when people are into their 80s and 90s. And I think they come to the conclusion it's either now or never. Yeah. And so we see a good deal of people at that time as well. But any time is a great time to talk to an attorney because we don't know when that last opportunity is going to be. Yeah,
there's that big question mark, which affects a lot of our decisions, whether or not to get life insurance, whether or not to buy a new car. I mean, you just don't know what that future's going to be. Troy, let's say that somebody has pre-planned their funeral. Somebody passes, grandma's passed away. They have the funeral, and then when do they come and see you or an attorney?
I usually advise people to take some time after a loved one passes away. There is usually, it would be rare to have something legal that needed to be done right away. Yeah. So I tell people, take time to be with family, grieve, laugh, cry, remember your loved one. That's far more important than running to the attorney to get their estate up and running. It's going to be there. I mean, you think, but it's better to just take some personal time and be with family, and that's the important thing.
Because all of those other decisions are not of an immediate nature. And you're probably thinking, well, gee, I should call the attorney right away and see about the will and everything, but not necessary. Not at all. Okay, let's go back to you, Lisa.
Okay.
So many things you do in pre-planning. What are some of the major things people do when they come to you or to a pre-planning counselor to make decisions? What kind of things do you have to decide?
Yeah, so, well, number one, the first thing, and probably the hardest thing to do is just make the appointment. Just coming in and sitting down with us is probably the hardest thing that I hear. And once people are in sitting down, they just feel so much, well, number one, they feel so much better that they're doing it, but now they have the information. And I always know, I've noticed, and I've personally experienced that when you educate yourself on something, it's less scary.
Right.
Yeah, so one of the things that, well, I do everything in 3 steps because I just feel like 3 is just an easier number to remember, and it's just, it makes things go so much easier. But before I even go through those with people, I ask, what is their goal? What do they want from me?
The person that's planning for themselves or the couple, family member that's planning?
Exactly. I sit down, and the first thing, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. Yeah. I don't want to put what I think on them. I really want them and their ideas to be guiding that conversation, but within those 3 steps, so we can move things forward. So I always pretend like, if something happened yesterday, where would your family be at today? So we're going to be making some decisions and asking questions that they would be asked. And really, we're just, the fruit of that first conversation is you have your toe in the water. You know, and then we slowly get more comfortable. So first thing we do is just assemble all that basic information, things that we need for the death certificate, to initiate that, to get with Social Security. There's lots of other paperwork that can go with it, depending on if you're being buried or if you're being cremated. And so what we do is just really make sure that when the family comes in, the funeral director has everything that he or she needs to best serve that family in a timely manner. So they're not there as long as they may be if their family member didn't do anything. So, and the next step is we talk through the process. So, what do you want? Or I always kind of joke, people don't even know. You don't know what you don't know. So when we sit down,
it's not like you can have a lot of practice planning your funeral.
And it's not something that people want to talk about. But like we've carved out this time to sit down, and I get to educate people. Sometimes it's a hard conversation. Sometimes it's really easy, but it's better to do it now than after someone dies. So a lot easier. So we go through that, and then as we go through that, we talk about all the services. We talk about all the merchandise, things that people would need depending on their choices, and then we talk about some outside costs too. You know, so
outside costs.
So things like the death certificate. We'll get that for a family. You know, so if they need 10, we'll go get 10. It makes it a lot easier for them. They don't have to go downtown. They've been here before. They can pick those up easily. We will help write that obituary in the newspaper.
Is that required? Is that mandated?
No, it's not mandated, not by us, unless there's some reason that it would be mandated from somebody else. But no, right now, even just a simple line in the newspaper, there's a fee. So, and it's per line, and that changes. And it's not typically going down. So it's a nice thing to make sure if you do want that you're putting some, we talk about that, and we put that in the cost estimate.
What do you call it's not a program, but a leaflet?
The memorial, well, we call it the memorial package. So it's typically like the book that people will sign in as they come in, and then we have a memorial folder. Sometimes they're like half a page folded, or sometimes a full page folded. sometimes prayer cards,
Yeah.
and then a lot of times that will be personalized for the person, along with thank you notes for that family, and we put it together real nice for them so that they have all those thank you notes and all the memorial folders of people that might have given memorials to a foundation or a group.
And do you take care of forwarding those on then, or
Well,
whose responsibility is that?
we make sure that the family gets those. So after
Okay.
the service, we hold tight on that and make sure that within that it's a box that the family gets. That it's all in there and it gets to the right person.
Got it. All right, let's talk legal, if we could, Troy. So what about the information that has to go out, whether or not you have to put it in the paper? And I know that you attorneys before have said that you have to put something in so that any people that you owe money to can get that in.
Yeah. What you're talking about would be the probate estate administration process, and it's one of those things that it's good public policy that when someone passes away, they probably should pay their debts. Just as a society, we've agreed that that's what needs to happen. So there's a special process where creditors can make a claim against the estate, and they're put on notice through the newspaper.
Okay, all right, but it doesn't have to be a certain length.
The notice?
The notice, yeah.
Well, it's not the obituary. It's back in the...
Oh, it's separate, okay.
The legal notice section, the classifieds.
Got it. That's kind of a strange thing nowadays because not that many people get the newspaper anymore, but yet there are requirements of what has to be put in the newspaper. How do you let people know if they don't take a paper?
Well, if we know about creditors, then we do notify them directly.
Okay.
But if we don't know about them and they don't reply to the notice, if they don't respond within 3 months, they're out of luck. They're forever barred.
Too late now. Hey, we have a phone call here, and I'm thinking we're going to have a number of phone calls, so get in line on our phone right now. We have an operator back in the control room. Okay, this is from James, and James says, what if someone wrote down their last wishes on paper without it being seen by a lawyer? Okay, Troy, this is going to be for you. And then they pass away. Is that handwritten note considered a legal document? What do you say, Troy?
Well, like everything in law, it depends on the situation. And it's a common case in law school where a farmer had a tractor turn over on him. It did not kill him immediately, but he knew he was going to pass away, and he had a screwdriver or something and actually wrote what might be determined to be a will in the paint on the tractor.
Really?
Yes, and that was deemed to be, because of the circumstance, a legitimate will.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even if no one witnessed him doing that?
Yeah, well, because it was pretty clear he had done it, and he had done it in contemplation of his immediate demise.
Yeah.
But if someone doesn't have those special circumstances and they just write down that information on a piece of paper, most likely it will not be considered to be an effective will.
Okay, so that's answering James' question about that. So make sure you get legal counsel for that. Judy, thank you for calling. And Judy says this: my sister-in-law lost her husband. What should she do with his medical records? Good question. Do you have any advice, Lisa?
Well, not a legal one, but if I didn't have any affection towards them, I'd probably shred them. But I don't know.
That's good.
Maybe.
What do you think? Are you advising that, Troy? Or what? I mean, is it anything that she's going to need later, or the sister-in-law?
Well, immediately my attorney mind goes to, well, did something happen that perhaps there could be litigation? Either was there an accident? Is there any concern about the treatment that the person received in the healthcare facility? And all that's evidence that might speak to that. So it might not be a bad idea to hold on to that for 7 years. And
7 years, okay.
It's a good rule of thumb. There are various statutes of limitations on different types of things, but if that's what I would advise. Now, you don't want to keep 30 banker's boxes worth of medical records necessarily, but if it's a small amount, you don't mind storing it, I would advise people to hang on to that for some years.
Okay, all right, that makes good sense. And thank you again, Judy, for watching Life Ahead. Again, 969-2720 is our phone number here, and we'd love to hear your question for our panel here tonight. Lisa, let's go back to planning, making pre-arrangements for the funeral.
Okay.
Is it different for regular burial than it is for being cremated, or how does that work?
Yeah, so different, no, just a different amount, I'd say burial is a bit more straightforward. If you choose cremation, you have a lot more options with regard to what you can have.
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. Well,
options.
I mean, for burial, you can be buried,
Yeah.
So that's what happens.
Yeah.
Your casket's buried or placed in a mausoleum. For cremation, it's just a bigger conversation because for us, a lot of people choose to rent a casket. They choose to.
You could do that?
You have a typical, like your traditional services, and then you, so you'll have your viewing, your visitation, and then followed by your service, and then instead of going to the cemetery after that service, you come back with us because you can't be cremated until the death certificate comes through, and that takes up to 1 to 2 weeks depending on the situation.
Seriously?
If not more, depending on the situation, yeah. So we wait until we get that, and after the death certificate comes through, then the person's
Does that come
cremated.
from the state, or where does that come from?
Probably, I know it's a county thing, so.
Oh, county
probably
thing, okay. So then this is a little uncomfortable sometimes here. You keep the body until you get the death certificate at the funeral home?
Yeah, we care for the body until that death certificate comes
That's
through.
comforting.
Yeah. Everybody's treated with dignity and respect while they're in our care.
Yeah.
So, of course, I mean, the people that do this, they've been called to do this. So, everybody in this industry, that's
Sure.
how we do things. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that, and talking before the show too, that there's great care and great concern for the families and their feelings, and it's treated with great respect. Jill has called in. Thank you, Jill, for calling in. Jill says, my parents prearranged their funeral with one home, but can it be transferred to another? Oh, I see, with one funeral home, but can it be transferred to another funeral home? I don't know. Either of you
Well, I can
know
take that because I do it all the time. Yeah, so we, whether you prearranged in Florida or whether you prearranged across town, that money that you have placed in a funeral trust, an irrevocable funeral trust, it's yours. You get to take it where you want to. Okay.
Okay.
And so when we do a transfer, let's just say someone moved across town, and it happens every day. They come in, and the money stays with the trust company, but we just take the other funeral home's name off, and we put ours. So of course, we're going to look at what was done and make sure we understand, and we can do that, of course, and we always can. But yeah, we definitely do that almost every day.
Oh, okay, so it's not an unusual thing
No,
at all.
yeah.
Jill, thank you for that question, by the way. Anything to add on that, Troy? Legally, do you have to do anything?
Well, no, not legally. They pretty much, the trust itself, we talk about its transferability. But since we're talking about payment, one of the things I see all the time is people, when they come in to talk about their estate planning, I ask if they've prearranged or prepaid their funerals, and they say no, but I have a life insurance policy.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
That will pay for that, and of course you have some opinions on that as to whether or not that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just, for us, it's not the simplest way. So when I sit down with someone, my goal is to, whatever I say is going to happen, okay? So and the way we do that is we set up, like I just said, the irrevocable funeral trust. And what that does is it protects that money from that inevitable moment, right? So I always say, it's like, we were born here, we're going to die here, and we don't know how much, and we don't know when. So when you sit down and prearrange, what you're doing is you're placing that money into that trust to make sure 100% it moves forward at death. Another thing we didn't talk about, and I will get back to the insurance and how that would play out, but you get a guarantee. So that's going to be something else you do not get when you have like an outside funeral or an outside insurance policy. You get a guarantee on the services and merchandise that you selected. So if you're doing this when you're 50 and you live to 100, you have 50 years of inflation that you've avoided, and it's been readily available for your family no matter what could have happened throughout those years. Because again, we don't know how much and we don't know when. So really, it's just that responsible thing to do. But as far as insurance, I mean, I have insurance and I have it for reasons, not for my funeral, because there's other options that are better. But what happens is when people think that that's going to help, it's not life-proofing. It's not 100% going to be there. And the shock I get from people when they say that to me sometimes is disbelief. I had a gentleman do that one time and he goes, yeah, I'll be okay. And then literally 3 years later, he came back and he said his wife had Alzheimer's. She was going into the nursing home, and he couldn't keep it any longer because it had cash value that put her above the Medicaid max. And so because of that, what he thought was going to pay for things, what he thought was going to be there, and other things, you might take out a loan off that. You might not be able to pay the premiums. You may not have understood the language in that, or because you did it so many years ago that all of a sudden you don't have it anymore. It expires. So you're betting you're dying and they're betting you're living. So this thing is just taking care of it no matter what. So insurance. Good advice. Yeah.
And just from a practical standpoint, when you walk into the funeral home, you don't have cash in hand from the life insurance policy.
That takes time.
Yeah, well, it comes back to the death certificate. So you're looking at 1 to 2 weeks to get the death certificate, and then up to a week or more for the life insurance company to pay out.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point, because the funeral directors, the bill is due that day. So a lot of times families will just pay it, and then when the estate opens after they've met with their lawyer and received their death certificate, they may be paid back.
Could be reimbursed.
Maybe not. I don't know. Nobody's obligated to give that person if they aren't on that.
But it's good to know that you do have to pay the day you have the funeral. You can't wait for that life insurance or anything. Talk about Medicaid a little bit with me, Troy. What if somebody is on Medicaid? Is there something they need, or legal documents for funeral planning?
Well, typically when we encounter funeral planning would be when we're trying to preserve assets. In order for someone to become eligible for Medicaid. And an irrevocable funeral trust, like we've been talking about, is an exempt asset. So if you can, that's one of the first things that we talk about with people, is that if they can put some of their assets into that trust, it'll be there for them when they need it.
Okay, we have an interesting question coming up here. This is for you, Lisa. This is Jerry. Jerry, thank you for watching us here tonight on Life Ahead. And Jerry says, if you want cremation, how would you plan to transfer the body to another state?
Okay, so if you want cremation, how would you? Okay, so are we assuming if you wanted to be buried elsewhere after you were cremated, or you died somewhere and you needed you wanted to bring your body back to be cremated.
Well,
so
I don't
there's
know.
a couple different ways.
I'm interpreting that,
Yeah.
that maybe you'd be cremated here or wherever
Yeah.
you died, but then you have the body.
Okay, yeah, let's
in-
say that
in a
happens.
urn or
Let's
whatever.
just say your favorite place was Colorado, and then
Yeah.
you were cremated here, and your wish was to be taken out to Colorado for burial or whatever. That would be, the funeral director will put the paperwork to allow you to go across state lines in with the urn. So you'll have
Okay.
that. And that's just a discussion you'd have with your funeral director.
Okay, good question, Jerry. Any last comments or recommendations, Troy, as an attorney that you'd make to our viewers?
Well, just one quick one. Indiana law changed in regards to the appointment of a healthcare representative.
Okay.
And now, if you've prepared that document since that law changed a few years ago, that healthcare representative could very well have some authority to make decisions after you pass away.
Okay.
So it's something to look into, talk to your
But
attorney
and
about.
it's something that you need to sign off on. You need a legal
Yes.
document for it. Okay,
Correct.
that's good advice for sure, and
Yeah.
something that's, again, a fairly recent thing. Troy, thank you for being here, and
well, thank
you
you.
for inviting Lisa. You've given us a lot of thought.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's see, could we just go plan our funerals here?
Let's do it. I'd be honored to help you.
Thank you so much, Lisa Schenkel. And thank you all for watching us here on Life Ahead. And of course, we'll be back next Wednesday night at 7:30 with another topic and other guests. Good night. Have a good evening.
The preceding program on PBS Fort Wayne was made possible in part by
Beers Mallers, elder law attorneys, providing information on legal matters of guardianship and financial issues relating to nursing home care. Beers Mallers attorneys can also assist with Medicaid requirements and help navigate difficult family situations. Beers Mallers, attorneys at law, with offices in Fort Wayne, LaGrange, and on the web at beersmallers.com.